So in the chat, if you haven't introduced yourself, please introduce yourself by letting us know what type of work you're looking for, and include your LinkedIn URL with the HTTPS so that people can reach out and connect with you during this call. If you have a question, please type in chat question and then your question so that we can get to it and answer it. And if you have a success, whether that be a small success that you actually made a networking call, or that you reached out to a new connection, or you commented on a post for the first time this week, or you have a big win, like you've gotten a job and you want to share that with us, we'd love to hear about it. So please do let us know if you have a success, same as with question, type success first, and then let us know that you have the success, and we'll be able to call upon you and ask you to tell us about it. We've got a great group here. We've got Joey, who is an author as well as Brenda, and his book is Don't Paint Your Kitchen First. Is that right, Joey? It's something like that. I know I'm paraphrasing here. It's a great book.
You got it, Jude. You got it.
There's Kenneth Lang as well, and he's our LinkedIn expert. I think I saw Mindy Stern on the call as well. She's a brilliant job search expert. And Sue Griffey, are you on as well today? I don't see, if Sue was here, I think she'd be saying, yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I'm here. I just can't unmute.
There you are.
Yeah, I am here. And pom-poms to you, Jude. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Brenda started this call because she herself knew what it was like to be let go, not be part of a group, and to have that support. And that is exactly why she has created VIP Fridays. I'm not really sure what else to say.
You're good. You're like perfect. I was like, this thing runs on autopilot, you guys. I could like leave and not even do the call, and it would like run itself. I love it. So I had a request because I've been doing a lot of speaking engagements lately, and someone said, you never wear this stuff for us. And I said, well, maybe today's Friday call. So give me just a second. Now, when I'm at events, I try to have this on like before I come on stage, but sometimes just like on today, I'm coming on stage as I'm doing my intro. So I have to kind of like vamp and do it as I go. So I've got my pink cowboy hat. I got my pink feather boa. If we were in the room for this, you guys, I would be passing this around the room as we did introductions and told success stories and stuff like that. And then I've got a fun pair of sunglasses too. I'm not gonna be able to wear these the entire call because they're really hard. They're called fun glasses. My friend Scott Wyckoff, he said, you should call them fun glasses. I'm like, they are. They're like Snapchat filter with the little daisies on them. And then I had this in front of my desk when I presented this week. So I'll show you this to all of you. I can go up to presenter view so it can be a little bit larger up on screen here. Oh, how do I do this? Okay, there we go. I'm not going to read the words out loud so that YouTube doesn't kick me off. But my name is Brenda Meller and I love pie, and I help people get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. And I like to have fun while doing so. And I'm delighted to see all of you on today's Friday VIP call. Thank you so much to Jude, to Sue, to Kenneth. I've got lots of great helpers, which I call all-stars. I've got Joey helping us out in the background here today as well. I want to look through and see who is on the call and say good morning and welcome to all of you as well. So let's see who we have with us. Julia, my intern. And Julia, today I'm going to have you helping with facilitating of questions and success stories. So if you could watch and chat for those, Julia, when I lose track, I'm going to call on you. I don't know why I never thought about having my interns do that, but Julia, I'm going to have you do that. Is that okay with you? Can you give me a yes? Julia, did she walk away and get coffee?
No, I'm here.
All right, good. Thank you for doing that. All right, let's see. Who else do we have on? We've got Justin, Abby. Abby, your name is being dropped to me like at a rate of 1 million times an hour these days. People are coming from your group to my group, and I think we're referring people back and forth. So thank you so much for being on today. Let's see, we have Is it George or Jorge? Could you unmute yourself? I feel like I've done this 3 weeks in a row now, and I need to know how to pronounce your name, sir. Can you unmute and tell me?
I sure can. It's Jorge.
Jorge.
Like-
Okay. I will
Yes.
get that right going. Every time I come to it, I'm like, I know how to say it. All right. We have Jorge on with us here today. We have Alicia, Angela, Anne Marie, Erica. Love the spelling of your name, Erica. Becky, Beth, Bunny, Christine, Cindy, Dan, David, Dean, Dorothea, Eleanor, Janelle, Jeff, Jennifer, Jill, Joey, Henlang. I love how you changed it so I know I can differentiate between you two now. Laura, Lena, Linda, Lisa, Miguel, Rich, Rita, Rosemary, Scott, Stuart, Susan, Tara, VF, and Wendy. Welcome, welcome. You are all welcome here every single Friday. This is part of your team now. When we work for a company, you're part of a team. And then this weird thing happens where you're let go or your position is dissolved or other fancy words, a company goes out of business and you no longer have a team, right? And it's kind of a weird thing because like the one day you were like besties at work and you were all helping each other doing the stuff. And then the next day it's like everybody turns their back on you because they don't want to fraternize with the enemy because you're no longer there. And it's kind of weird because you go from being a part of a team to not being a part of a team. And it can feel very isolating when you're in career transition. That's part of the reason I created these Friday phone calls so that you could create a community of VIPs that you can network with. And by the way, my friend, you are a VIP. You are a very important person. I want you to know that your value is not tied to whether or not you are employed. You have that value with you wherever you go. And your next employer is going to be lucky when they start working with you. So I want you to remember that you're a very important person. And I want you to surround yourself with other awesome people who are on the call here today. As we're going through, you're going to be noticing the chat is going to be lighting up throughout. You'll have the opportunity to invite people to connect if you want to multitask during the session, or you can download the chat. And at the end of the phone call, after we're done, you can go through the chat and look up LinkedIn profiles and invite people to connect. I do want to remind you when you invite people to connect to personalize your invite, add a note and tell people that you are on the Friday VIP call today. And also I want to encourage you to join the private unlisted LinkedIn group that we have created. I'm going to share this up on screen here. Give me just a second. I think it is up on screen in my background. I just need to pull it up and do a screen share. All right, let's see if I click on share one. Okay, so this is it. So this is our private unlisted group on LinkedIn. One day, a couple weeks ago, I talked about like, this is like our flagpole that we meet at. So if you remember in elementary school, they used to teach you to do fire drills at home and they would say like, find a place outside of the house that you can all meet at. So in case, everybody goes out a different door, you know where to find each other. It's in the middle of the night, right? So the group on LinkedIn is where I want you to go. If you're ever having trouble getting into these Friday calls, if you come across job postings, I want you to share them inside the group as well. I also will have at the beginning of every month, I'm going to have a welcome post. And if you have not already gone on this welcome post and tell people your introduction, the same introduction you do on the Zoom call, I want you to do that. Tell people your targeted job title, your targeted geographic area. And I put in here too, even though you technically don't need it because you're on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn URL with a full address using the HTTPS, just to get in the habit of using that. And then scroll through and see what people are looking for, because you might come across, like here, Randy just posted a week ago, she is looking for a director of financial planning and analysis, preferably remote. And if you think of organizations that might be hiring, check out UHY Resource Solutions Group. Now they're in Michigan, but they are frequently posting for finance positions, some of which are virtual. So if you can help people out, help them out. Look through that post. And I'm going to do this once a month inside the group, because as we know, people come in the group and they get jobs and they leave the group. So this will be the way that we can kind of keep current with this every month. As you're scrolling through here, you're going to see, today we see a lot of people going, I can't get into the call, but typically you'll see people are sharing job postings. Folks might be sharing resources like Jude is sharing here. This is a free program offered the other night. Sometimes it'll be posts that they are wanting to, share with all of you inside the group. That's fine to do. Resume mistakes. So things that are related to job search. I just ask that these are not selling or promotional posts, because I want to make sure that these are information and resources that are going to be helpful to you in your job search. Now the group is private and unlisted. Private means it's not going to show up on your profile. So if, my friend, you are by chance working but looking for another job, it's not going to be public. Nobody's going to see that. And it's unlisted, which means you only can find the link if I give it to you. And I also have it set up that I have to admit you into the group. So you kind of like, you have to click on the request to join, which is like you knocking on the door, and I have to like open the door and let you in. And I do a quick scan just to make sure that these are the right people coming into the group for the right reasons. I do want to point out, and when I tried to do this the other day, Valanda, I'm not sure if she's on the call here today, but Valanda, it wouldn't let me admit her into the group, probably because she has more than 100 groups on her profile. LinkedIn won't tell me that, but that's typically why it won't let me admit people in the group. There are a few people that I messaged throughout the week, and I said, if you have any question, I said, why don't you come onto the Friday call and let's address the question on the call. Does that describe you? If that was you, say, yes, that was me, and unmute yourself right now. Because there was like 2 or 3 people. I said, come on the Friday call, and I want to start with your questions. And I can't remember what the questions were. If that was you, please unmute yourself. I don't see anybody unmuting themselves. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask my all-stars if you could take a moment and introduce yourself. While you're doing so, I'm going to go through and see what we have in chat in terms of success stories and questions, and I'll start to call on you. A reminder, if you have a success story, I'm going to ask you to write the word success, just like I did in chat right now. We will call on you, and we'll ask you to share what the success was. Did you get a job? Did you get an interview? Do you have an offer? Are you getting messages back from recruiters? Whatever you deem to be a success on the path for finding a job, we want to hear about it, and I want to share that story with others. If you have a question, I want you to type in the word question and type in the full question after that. So I'm going to say, do you like the color pink? I'm just making up a question. I type in the full question because in case we can't get to you during the call, if I can't pull you up on screen, there may be others in the group that can answer the question for you, either through chat or by following up with you. Okay. Can you please let me onto the web page when you have a chance? I think, Dan, you're asking about the LinkedIn group. I'll do that in just a second here. All right, so let's go through, and I want to see if a few of the all-stars can introduce themselves. I'm going to tell you the order one time, and you have to remember it. Okay, so pay attention here. All right, so Sue will go first, followed by Kenneth, followed by Mindy, followed by Abby, and who else? Did Joey leave? I don't see Joey anymore.
He's still here. I see him on the
I
bottom.
can't find him. Okay. Oh, he's at the bottom of my screen. Okay, so we'll do Sue, Kenneth, Mindy, Abby, Jude, and then Joey. Is that everyone? Did I get all the all-stars? Okay. All right, so Sue, you're up first. We'll do a brief introduction, and then you guys can take it from there. I'm going to put myself off of video while you do that.
Thanks, Brenda. I love being at this meeting, as do most all the all-stars say that every week. I'm the mentor with Pom Poms. In addition, I'm known as Sue Mentors. I try to celebrate small wins. I work with a global audience, global set of professionals, primarily people in transition, or as Brenda says, between successes, which is exactly how they are. Mostly I help people with how to get to their next career step by using evidence-based results. So follow me. Hashtags I love are excavating your evidence and giving value to get value, which is the theme of this group. On to Ken, I believe, next.
Yes. See, I actually wrote everything down today, so I knew who to actually go to next. I learned that the last time. So my name is Kenneth Lang. I'm a LinkedIn introvert, which may seem a little counterintuitive. When I went on this platform for the first time, I really didn't know where to start. I focus now with 45 and older, and ironically enough, I did a post this week, or I actually commented on a post. I was so afraid to be the first person doing a post or doing a comment on. I was waiting for other people to chime in. And I think you got to just do what you got to do. All of you have something valuable to say, and don't let the fact that you're in transition between successes, all the words, that everything besides the U word. Very important to have that great perspective. And since I wrote this down, Mindy, you're up next.
Thanks, Kenneth. So great to be here today. Sue Griffey and I had a call this week and we were talking about how great this community is for the job seekers for sure. But I think also for us as mentors, coaches, people who love to help job seekers, it's important for us also to always have our finger on the pulse of what's going on and where the issues lie. So I thank you all for being here today. It is definitely a step in the right direction. And just think about this. Pat yourselves on the back because you have taken a step that other job seekers have not taken today. So congratulations for taking that first step forward. I will give you several opportunities. Number one, I host an accelerator group, and that accelerator group is also a private LinkedIn group that you're more than welcome to join. Just shoot me a DM and ask to be entered, and I'll be happy to put you there. We post open jobs all the time. We post resources and all kinds of great things, including monthly events. And this month, our event is with Kenneth Lang. It's next Wednesday. I put the link into the chat. We have, I think, about 67 people registered so far. I'd like to hit the 100 number mark. And Kenneth's going to talk about jump in, the LinkedIn water is fine, the perspective of an introvert and how that introvert became one of the top 100, as it can, LinkedIn voices. So anyone, if Kenneth can do it, and I'm also an introvert, if I can do it, you guys can all do it. Don't let fear hold you back. Join us on Wednesday to hear how to do that. And I'm going to pass the baton over to Abby. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you, Mindy. So good morning, everybody. My name is Abby Kohat. I'm otherwise known as Absolutely Abby on the web. And I host career wake-up calls where I answer questions from job seekers. It's like rapid fire question and answer session. I've held about 101 of them. And last week we held one that had 130. So I'm trying to break my own record. So you guys should come because it's fun and fast. And I'll answer all of your questions from the vantage point of a recruiter, which I am. I'm a little recruiter. So I'm on LinkedIn literally all day, searching for candidates. And I tell you the absolute truth because as a recruiter, I can't tell you the absolute truth, but on my calls, I can tell you all kinds of cool secrets. And today I can also give you cool secrets. And I'm really excited to be here. If you want to join my calls, just go to careerwakeupcalls.com and they're always free. Thank you, Brenda, for inviting me. And I have no idea who's next.
I think it's Joey.
All right.
Actually, it's me.
Oh, sorry. The other Jay. Sorry about that. I didn't write it down like him.
So good morning, everyone. My name's Jude Gall, and I am a resume writer, job search strategist, and a person who loves to help people with their job search. My word of the year to help me focus all of my actions is dare. So I'm going to get you folks out there to think about that. I want you to dare to get the job that you really want. Don't settle. Take the time to get the job you really want. We've got lots of expert advice here. You've got other people that you can go to, Kenneth, Abby, Mindy. They've all got things on LinkedIn that you can join and get more information from. But please do dare to get the job that you really want this year. Don't settle for second best. And it's on to you, Joey.
Thank you, Jude. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to make this brief. My mantra is positive beats negative every day. As a somewhat retired salesperson, I've been living that for the last 20, 30 years. It's what made up most of my book. Excuse me. When I'm on these calls, I defer mostly to these all-stars that have preceded me, but I'll be the person who's in your face and telling you like it is. As a true blue New Yorker, I cut right to the chase. So if I hear you starting to go down a rat hole where you're negative, a negative Nelly, I will chime in. Otherwise, I'll keep my mouth shut. Welcome. Brenda, it's up to you, Brenda. Going once.
And we're back. There we go. That worked out pretty well, right? Okay, so while I was away, I was popping around, going through Zoom, looking at questions, stuff like that. In email, I got a couple more people saying I can't get in. Is the meeting canceled? What's happening? So here's what's going to happen today. I don't want anyone to feel like I was shortchanged because I didn't get in until 10:15 or 10:30. I don't have anything going on afterwards, so I'm going to take our call to 11:30 today. If by chance you need to leave early, you need to leave at 11, totally fine. This is on YouTube. I'm going to ask Julia, my intern, to please drop the YouTube link into chat again, as well as the full YouTube playlist if you want to watch other calls. So if you need to leave at 11, maybe you showed up on time, you got in, all the things worked for you, the planets aligned, great. But I don't want the folks that couldn't get in because of my user, I don't want to say error, because I didn't really try to make an error. I tried to fix it, but my Band-Aid didn't hold. And I got a bunch of people saying, I couldn't get in, I missed the pin. Are you still wearing the cowboy hat? I heard it was on. I'm like, yes, I'm going to keep it on for the full call. It's a little itchy on the neck, I'll have to say, but it's good for you guys. So we're going to go to 11:30. If any of the all-stars are able to stay on with me till 11:30, I would love it. If you cannot, I respect the fact that I've already asked you for an hour of your time and you may not need to come on. So you can quietly leave when you need to leave. We totally understand that. All right, I want to see who inside the session here is new. If you are new, this is your very first time joining the call, go into chat and type in the word new right now. I just want to see if there's any new folks that found us here. Tara English Sweeney is new. Tara, are you able to unmute yourself and just tell us where you found us? Tara, can you unmute? Are you able to? I'll give you a second. If you're not able to, that's okay. Going once, twice. Okay, I'm going to go to someone else. Linda Razzini. Linda, are you able to unmute yourself and tell us how you heard about us?
I Good morning, everybody. I found about you because I joined Addie's call to her wake up call, which was fabulous resources. So you're right, you are sharing each other's. It's really helpful to have this kind of. I've never been in this situation before, so not having a group that is positive and encouraging is just. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. In addition to all the resources that you're all sharing, it's given me a lot of hope. So thanks.
Well, I am so happy to hear that, Linda. That's why we do what we do. And, you know, myself and the others that are coming and volunteering our time to run this, this is really my favorite meeting of the week. I love coming on here. My goal is that everyone leaves feeling like, you know, one, you were noticed. We noticed that you were on. It's part of the reason I call out your names. Two, that you have a group that you can affiliate with, because when you're in career transition, it's definitely a roller coaster of emotions. You know, I want to make you smile. I mean, that's part of the reason I do the things I do. I have the music, I have, you know, jokes playing in the background, sometimes on screen. I want you to feel like it's a very stressful time being in career transition, but you can have some fun while we're at it too. And you can surround yourself with positive people who can inspire you throughout that. And I also want you to feel like you have a place to come and ask questions, because that's something that's really weird. When you're in career transition, nobody is kind of, I don't want to say responsible to you, but there's no authority figure you can go to and say, what do I do? Like at work, you go to HR or your boss and say, what do I do? And they can help you, right? When you're in career transition, you're kind of flailing. And there's nobody who's guiding you through this process. You got to figure out on your own, how do you get your resume updated? Where do you go for career coaching? How do you apply for jobs? This whole LinkedIn world, right? Things like that. We created a checklist. I call it the Do This Now checklist, with the help of all the all-stars and some of you fellow job seekers. I'm going to ask my intern, Julia, if she could drop that into chat. The Do This Now checklist was created to provide you like a guide to go through. Here's the things that you should do if you find yourself unemployed, laid off, out of work. Things like, you know, making sure that you change your email on your LinkedIn account to your personal email as soon as you can. Things like, if before you leave the office, if you still have access to your computer, get a copy of any of your performance reports, kudos emails, things that you want to take with you. And even things like applying for unemployment. Like nobody's going to tell you to do that. No, you might hear that you should do it, but nobody's going to like make sure that you're doing it. So things like that we want to make sure that you have thought about. And there was even some really great tips in that checklist. Things like when you leave work, if you are using a work cell phone and you don't have a personal cell phone, ask them if you can buy the cell phone so that you don't have to buy a brand new cell phone. Or similarly, if it's a work laptop that you're using and you don't have a personal laptop, ask if you can purchase it from them. Sometimes employers will let you because it's an older laptop and they're going to retire it anyways and buy new laptops for other team members. So I really love that checklist because it does help to guide you through the process. And I love this community because we help you as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some questions. I don't see any success stories in there. I'll remind you, if you have a success story to share, put the word success in chat. I do want to announce last week, if you remember, I had a generous anonymous donor who gifted some time towards giving job seekers 30-minute phone calls with me. And we did a drawing last week. One of the individuals, you're on the call, I don't know if you want me to say your name or not, but one of the individuals said, you know what, things are rocking and rolling for me right now. I've got like 3 interviews. Things are looking like they're happening. I want you to give it to someone else instead. I'm going to ask that individual if you want to self-identify or not. I'll give you a chance to do so right now.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Do you want to tell us what's happening with you, Jorge?
Sure. So thanks to who I call the A team, all the leadership team on this call, I've been getting some great tips. And this week I had some major successes. These are not small W's. I'm going to call them big W's, but I had 3 interviews. So I feel that I'm moving in the right direction. I've created momentum. So I'm going to pass it back to another deserving individual on the call. Again, take all the advice for job seekers, take all the advice for getting here. Small advice, big advice, take everything. I strongly recommend update your LinkedIn profile. I strongly recommend you network and work on your, tell me about yourself, on delivery. Those are the 3 items that I recommend. But yes, I'm creating momentum and I want to give it back to our job seeker team.
I love it. Positive social media karma. I love the fact that our community is so giving, and thank you, Jorge. We're going to do a drawing at the end of the call here today for that 30-minute. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this website called wheelofnames.com to do the drawing. I see all the names are in here from last week. I'm going to clear them out real quick. What I'm going to ask all of you to do is, if you want the opportunity for that 30-minute call with me, just put the number 30 in chat right now. I'm just going to test this out just to show you. I'm going to put the word 30 in chat right now. If you are in career transition, unemployed, this will give you a 30-minute coaching call with me, delivered through Zoom, recorded. I'll send you a playback. We can look through your profile. I can help you, with any questions you have related to LinkedIn for your job search or looking through your profile activity, things like that. I can help you out with that. So I'm going to ask Julia to collect your names and put them in one list so I can drop these into Wheel of Names. We'll do that at the end of the phone call. Must be present to win, and I will be pulling one winner for that. Thank you, Jorge, for donating that forward. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move into our questions. My camera just came off. Let me upload it again. That's my web camera. This is my much better webcam. All right, there we go. So I have questions I've noted from Susan, then Cindy, then Tara, and then Erica. And I'll ask Julia to help me to keep track of the other questions that come in if we have some additional questions. So Susan, you had a question about tweaking your profile so it doesn't look like you've got a split personality, because you got a couple things you're considering. Could you unmute yourself and confirm if I captured that question correctly? And then let's look at your profile, Shu.
Yep, you got it right. I can go a couple different ways. There's not one thing I'm looking at, and the things I am looking at aren't the same. Sorry.
Okay, so tell us. Let's start with your introduction, Susan. What are you looking for? Targeted job titles and targeted geographic area.
Business operations, chief of staff. Area is remote anywhere in the U.S. or Costa Rica. But I'm physically located between New York and Philadelphia.
Okay, could I give you a suggestion on that
Please.
intro?
Yeah.
First of all, I want you to be, you don't have to be overly enthusiastic, but I want it to sound like that's what you want. Yes, I'm looking for a business operations. I want you to be affirmative and positive with the way that you say it. And the second part of that, when I'm asking you what's your targeted geographic area, I feel like you meander a little bit with it. I want you to start with, well, I'm located between Philadelphia and New York, so I'd welcome that. Or I'm also open to remote opportunities, even considering Costa Rica. So do you see how it just changed the way that it felt,
Sure.
when we say that? And all of this is, you may be like, well, who cares, Brenda, how I say it? Because you're going to have an opportunity to talk to somebody, and they're going to pick that up from you. Is this something you want to do, or is this what you did forever and you're thinking you have to do it in your next job? Do you want to do it? Are you going to be good at it? Right. So it's a little way of just flipping it on there. So you said you're worried about split personalities. So business operations and chief of staff, those sound pretty similar to me. Are you feeling like those are different things?
In some ways, yes.
Okay, so tell me why they're different.
But I apologize, everybody. I'm gonna pass on this question because I'm not articulating it very well.
You're fine.
And I have a bit of a head cold and I don't want to take
You know what? You're fine. I'm gonna keep you going. You don't have to speak. I'm gonna give you some profile tips. How's that sound?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
don't want you to feel like I put you on the spot, and I don't want you to feel like I'm criticizing you. And I hope you don't, what I just said, I hope it didn't come off the wrong way.
No,
I
no.
want to support you. So
Okay.
business operations professional. So here's the first thing I want to look for. When I ask you your targeted job title, I want to make sure that at least one or more of your targeted job titles appears in your LinkedIn header. So could I suggest that you, instead of saying business operations professional, let's change it to business operations leader, because professional could be entry-level specialist all the way up to C-suite. Leader at least says manager and above or director and above. So it gives the reader, like, where do you fit in the scale of business operations professionals? If there's like a scale of people inside there. Innovator, process improvement, quality management, dog mom. I love the dog mom thing. I have that on mine too. And adventure traveler. I love that you ended with something a little bit different and interesting. Your header graphic, I'd love to see something in there, Susan, that like right now it's like it's a really pretty piece of artwork that you have on the wall. I'd love to see something that's a little bit more business operations like. And whether that is, and I'm just making this up, gears that are interlocking, and working with each other, or it could be a picture of buildings, or it could be a picture of teamwork, or even like the little dots with the people connecting to it. So something that kind of speaks to that area of expertise in the industry category generally on here. I'm going to scroll down just to see if there's anything else that's jumping on me.
My about is boring. I know that.
Okay, so you're going to work on your about, and next week or the following week, you're going to come on and we're going to talk about it again. How's that sound?
Great.
Is that
Thanks.
fair? Okay, so your about, you need to work on it, but at a quick glance, here's what I'm seeing. In the about statement, we know that the 4 lines at the top are in the previewable area. We also know that most people don't click on see more, so we want to maximize what appears in there. One thing I would do is this line where it says as a strategic innovator, just pull that up so that it goes to the end of this sentence, so that you're getting some more of the characters that are coming up on there. Now, I said most people don't click on see more. The right people will, and especially if you make it interesting in the beginning inside of here. So Susan, when you think about, process improvement, what is it that you like about the field? I mean, tell me, like, what lights you up, or why did you choose this? Why do you want to stay in the field? Tell me a little bit, just kind of off the cuff right now. I don't want you to think about it too much.
Yeah, it's identifying where something's not working or there isn't a process in place for it and fixing it, making it better, improving it.
Okay, so I want you to weave a little bit of that into the first few sentences here. And it could be, and use whatever you feel comfortable with your personality. I love solving problems, like creating processes where processes don't exist and they should. So something like that is showing people both your skill set and your passion. And it's also making you different from other people who are looking for business operations roles. And perhaps more importantly, what are you going to do for the company if they hire you? It sells you as a candidate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm going to drop her link inside of the chat, and I'm going to see if any of the other all-stars would like to offer advice to Susan before we move off of here. If you do, raise your hand if you could. I think that's probably the best way that we do this. Use the little raise hand feature. Okay, Joey, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Susan, I've heard this before on the call from other people, and particularly I think Brenda's even suggested it. Look at other people's profiles that are similar to the title or the jobs that you're looking for. You're not going to plagiarize what they're saying, but you may get some ideas about how to craft your message.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Joey. Kenneth.
I would say, because I was looking at the same time, you want to engage more. I think the biggest thing is to start looking at other content, whether you do a search for it, or even if it's people in this group, because I wrote about this week. The hardest thing to do is to do that first post. And I actually had a couple of people reach out to me, thanking me for giving them the courage, which it almost is, to make that first post. And a comment on a post is even better sometimes than a post itself, because you already have an engaged audience. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Thank you, Kenneth. All right. And just to add on to that too, Susan, I'm going to give you a second homework assignment. The first one was work on your about statement, because you already said, I feel like it's boring. And that was your words, not mine, but I want to challenge you to work on it. I'm going to give you a little nudge. The other thing is your expertise is business operations. I'm sure, Susan, you could probably write a book about the amount of information you know about this field, but little tips on business operations or establishing processes. I want you like once a week to post something. Like it could be a did you know. If you don't already have a process in place, you probably have team members that can help you to create the processes. Why do you want to have a process? Because if you have employee turnover, or you might discover efficiency. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. You're in the field, you probably know more. So once a week, demonstrate your knowledge in a LinkedIn post. And it could be by like doing a did you know, or it could be like hashtag business operations tip or something like that. Try to start to demonstrate to people your expertise. And you'll also get a little bit of a following there too, people following you for those types of tips. What do you think about that?
I think it's all fantastic. I've written down my homework and
Okay.
we'll get to it. Thank you.
All right. Are you glad you raised your hand?
Of course.
Okay, good. I feel like
Always.
I don't want you, Susan, to feel like I'm like jumping on her and criticizing. I want you to feel like, oh, I'm glad I did this, because you know that's what this is about. So
Yeah. Thank you.
all right, perfect, great. Thank you, Susan. Okay, Cindy, you had a question about should you follow up after you've applied for a job? Could you unmute yourself, Cindy, and clarify if that's what the question was?
Sure. My Zoom's all wacky. I have too many tabs open, I'm told. So I'm just gonna talk. I mean, like, say if you applied and you know you're really qualified, and I actually sent my resume to the office manager with a little blurb, and she sent it to the founders of a small company. So if you know you're qualified, do you suggest like finding the people, the hiring people, hiring managers, CEOs, whoever, and sending them a message?
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I'm gonna just cut to the chase here. I'm gonna share my screen and I'm gonna show you an example of how you do this. So let's say I want to work for Grand Traverse Pie Company. Look at that. Did you anticipate that one? Let's
You
say
love pie.
I see that they're hiring for a chief marketing officer. I'm totally making this scenario up. I'm not looking to go back to corporate, but let's say I see they have a chief marketing officer position. I want to apply for the company. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to their company page on LinkedIn. I searched for it in the search and that's how I found it. And then first thing is I want to make sure I'm following the company page. And there are some recruiters I've talked to who said when they get people applying for jobs on LinkedIn, they go into 3 buckets. One is the everybody who's applied. The second one are people who are highly engaged. So they've liked their posts on their company page or they've interacted. And the third is, I think, open to work, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but basically my takeaway is if you like the page, it helps you to come up in visibility for the company for some recruiters. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. The next thing is next to where it says, after the city and whatever, there's like a link that says 93 employees. I can already see I have one connection there. I'll come back to that in a second, but I'm going to click on 93 employees. And let's say this is for a chief marketing officer role. I'm going to look for other people who maybe have marketing or a C level or a VP level in their job title, because I want to try to connect with the people I'm going to be working with. If you happen to see that you already have a connection there, click on that person's name. And you definitely want to reach out to them and ask them, hey, I see the company's hiring for a chief marketing officer. I'm wondering if you might have any insight into the hiring process for the company. Now, Sydney is actually the daughter of one of my best friends from my former corporate life. I would feel super comfortable reaching out to her and I would say, do you know anything about the chief marketing officer position? And I think she worked at Grand Traverse Pie as a summer job. I don't know if she's there anymore. So she may not, but she might know. She might say, well, I know when I was there, the person who was in charge of marketing was this person. So I'm going to look up them next. But I would say, yeah, definitely. If you are applying for a job, look them up on LinkedIn, invite them to connect. Typically what I do in the invitation to connect is I'm going to not reference the job posting right away. I would do it in the second step. The first step would be, hi, Sydney, we haven't met, but I see that we're both located in Metro Detroit. And if we have anything else in common, like we share several common connections, including Sue Griffey, I might mention a name, let's connect on LinkedIn. After Sydney accepts, then I would do the, Thanks for accepting. I'm considering applying for, or I've applied for the marketing role at Grand Traverse Pie. I'm wondering if you might have any insight into the hiring process for that position. If so, would you be open to chatting sometime? Now, my advice for you, Cindy, and for others is if you try this process, be respectful of the fact this is the first time you're meeting the person. And I want to give them the opportunity to not answer me, or to, you know, to be okay with like not wanting to do a phone call or anything. I had someone the other day was like requesting a coffee talk with me. And I'm like, I get so many requests a week. I don't do the coffee talks anymore, but you can come on my Friday job seeker call, or, you know, I walk my dog early in the morning. If you want to give me your cell phone, I'll call you when I'm walking. And he's like, no. And I can't believe you're not going to do a coffee with me. And I'm like, now I don't want to do a coffee with you. I don't care if it's black. I'm like, we're done here. But you know, I want you to be polite and respectful of their time. If they don't want to do you know, give you the insight, move on to the next person. Now, some people might say, wait until you have the interview and try to connect with people. I personally would want to warm up the company before I hit their door. You know, make some names for myself, especially if I'm in a marketing role and be interacting on social media. I want them to be talking about Brenda Meller before Brenda Meller's resume hits the hiring manager's desk. So if I were you, I certainly would. I want to see if any of the other all-stars would like to add anything to that in terms of when you reach out, if you reach out to hiring managers or not. Please feel free to raise your hand if you'd like, or you can unmute yourself. Kenneth, do you have any thoughts on this about reaching out and oh, I see Mindy unmuting. We'll go to Mindy first and then maybe to Kenneth next. Go ahead, Mindy.
Okay, absolutely. Everything that Brenda showed you is exactly what you should be doing. You should be making connections with people before you get there. Before you shouldn't go into an interview cold. You should know one or two people at the company, and it's going to help you with not only understanding more about what the company's mission is and what they do, but it's going to help you in your interview process because you're going to know more about what their pain points might be, what they're hoping to achieve by hiring you. So be very mindful about who you're trying to connect with in the company. I think looking for people either that you might be reporting to or that might have a role perhaps in the recruiting process, someone who's going to help to move you forward in the process. It's always the best opportunity for you because LinkedIn has so much information out there, so you can easily see, you know, who's in the company, what role they have, and how you can potentially interact with them. So 100%, yes, I'm on board.
Thank you so much, Mindy. All right, Jude and then Ken Lang. Go ahead, Jude.
Can you get the ice? Can you get some ice out for me?
I don't know who wants the ice, but
I'm
so
sorry. Oops.
one of the things that I would
sorry.
also recommend is you know, what if you are applying and you're applying online and there's an ATS system, also reach out to the hiring manager and let them and include your resume and cover letter in that email and let them know that you've already applied to the ATS system and you're just giving them a heads up, because a lot of times they will start immediately. If they like what they see, they'll start the process immediately instead of waiting, you know, till the end of the day to look at the ATS to see what came in that day. So be sure to do that. And if it's, you know, if it's a small company, I noticed that you had that, then I think the chances of you actually speaking to the hiring manager are actually even better. Now, if you try that and you find that you're not connecting with the person, you know, what I've done in the past is reached out to the receptionist and said, you know, I've been trying to get a hold of such and such, you know, but I can never get them. You know, when would be the best time? And they've always been really helpful and told me, you know what, get him in between 8 and 9, because after 9 he's out on the floor or wherever, or after 5 p.m. when he's back in his office and, you know, making the final things of the day. So that's all I have. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Jude. Excellent suggestions there. Ken Lang.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. So thank you, Mindy, for your explanation on that. I had a phone screening with a job that I'm very interested in. And I had done some research using DB Hoovers, and found who I thought was the hiring manager. And when I had my phone screening, the corporate recruiter acknowledged that that was the hiring manager. I have the right guy, and I reached out to him on LinkedIn, and I'm getting no response. I'm not sure if he's just doesn't not active on LinkedIn or what. And I also through some research found a guy that would be if I was hired for this job up here, that was recently hired within the last month or so. And I reached out to him just asking if we could connect and if he would share his thoughts on working at the company. Same thing, no response. So I don't know if these guys are just not active on LinkedIn or what. Yeah, and I don't know if I should continue to reach out to other people in the organization or what.
I have muted myself. I should have held my sign up for myself. Great question, Ken. Yes, really good observation. Some people are not active on LinkedIn. Other people are a little reluctant to converse with candidates. They just don't want to talk to you because they don't want you to feel like if I talk to you, that means you're getting a job. I'm giving you false hope, or I'm not giving the same opportunity to all other candidates. So I'm creating you an unfair. There's a lot of things that happen in their heads. If one person doesn't, just go on to the next person. And, what I try to do is connect with as many people as I can that I think I'm going to interact with in that company, in that role, if I get the job, as well as in different departments. If you're working in marketing, contact the people in sales or in IT or legal, or try to different departments. And then also there's a way you can look through search on LinkedIn using filters to find former employees. And that's another way of getting insight into the company, good, bad, and ugly, right? Did they like working there? Did they not? Is the hiring manager a good person? Did they know why the vacancy was created? Because there might be some drama happening behind the scenes. So try former employees so you can expand your search using filters on there as well. But yeah, I would say move on. Some people don't respond to the messages. If they're active on LinkedIn, you can see in their activity feed if they've posted recently, then you can make a comment on their activity feed, not about calling you, but about whatever it is they posted, which shows that you are supportive of them and their LinkedIn activity, and you're building familiarity with yourself, and you're also showing a level of professionalism that can happen there too. So these are just different methods of increasing your visibility. Sometimes you're gonna, hit it out of the park on the first one. Other times everything is gonna not work, nobody's gonna respond on it, and that's okay. There's other opportunities out there, and some organizations are much more social media and LinkedIn savvy than others. And, there's a mix of things that are out there. Anything else? Abby, I saw that you unmuted. Did you want to add something to that?
I wanted to say a couple of things that are not exactly on that exact topic, but they're on the topic of this whole question. And the first thing I want to say is that finding somebody to recommend you to the hiring manager is even better than trying to reach out to the hiring manager directly. And what happens as a recruiter, when the hiring manager gets that recommendation, they send you to me and they say, you got to interview this person. And the next thing I want to say is that very few people do any of this. So if you do any of this, you're much more likely to get somewhere. Because I literally have many positions open right now, and I'm not getting notes from the hiring manager saying so-and-so reached out to me, so-and-so got referred to me. Never. It literally never happened. Maybe this week I had one or two, but I can't remember the last time that I had a candidate come to me because someone spoke to them or recommended. So do all this. Everything that everyone's saying, try it. It will work. Thank you.
Joey, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to let's beat a dead horse to what everybody is saying. For those of you on this call, if you're the one that reaches out and does the thing that most people don't, you'll be the one moving forward. Conversely, if you just sit back and watch and read about it and hear about it, you'll be kicking yourself when those people who are doing the things that you should be doing are getting these jobs, and you're just going to kick yourself and beat yourself up. So get out of, don't be the normal, right? Be the unique person that jumps out of their skin and out of their comfort zone and makes a phone call sends an email, reaches out, goes onto these LinkedIn profiles, as Brenda was showing, and identifies people at these companies that can be your quote unquote sales force, who can push you through the process and avoid the ATS and all the other people that are not doing this, and be the one that does. I'm done.
All right. The poor dead horses out there that keep getting beaten. You know, it's bad for them. All right. So hopefully, and I'm blanking on the person that asked the question. Who was it that asked the question? Not Susan. Susan was our first person. I'm blanking, but the person that asked the question, did we give you enough information there? Was that helpful for you?
It was me. Yeah, that was all very helpful. Thank you.
Ken, but then there was a person before you, the woman before you.
Cindy.
Cindy and Ken, you both had similar questions. So Cindy, was that helpful for you?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically connecting the connection, even if it's like a third connection, do you think? Does that even do anything?
Yeah, third. If it's third, it just means they're third until you invite them to connect. And then once they accept your connection, then they become a first level connection. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I mean, does that do anything if they're
and what if they work at the company? Yeah, it's creating a warm connection at the company. Absolutely, it does something.
Okay. And then if the company is small, even reaching out to the founders of the company.
Yes, absolutely. Why not? If you don't ask, the answer is always no, right?
Right.
And sometimes it's trying different things, different approaches to things. I want to let the folks know that jumped on a little late today because of the Zoom hiccup and the ad event issues. We are going to go till 11:30 today. So if you came on a little late and you're feeling like I missed out on like half of the call, hey, we're going to go longer on here. So the time is now 11:02. For those of you that need to drop or have another meeting, I'm going to let you know we're going to keep going for another 30 minutes here. And our next question came from Tara. And Tara, I have down some notes and I can't read my handwriting. Something about chat. Tara, can you unmute yourself? Are you still on the call?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. What was your question?
Oh, good. It was a silly question. I was just trying to figure out how to download. You said you can download.
Oh, download the chat. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh, I know what my notes say now. It's download chat. So no, there are no silly questions. There are only silly hats and silly feather boas on our phone calls here. What you're going to do is to download the chat, and for everyone on the call to download the chat, you're going to go to the chat where you type in your notes and stuff like that. And where it says to everyone, off to either the right-hand side, or it might be below the chat now, there should be 3 little dots, like an ellipse, ... And if you hover over, it says more. If you click on it, you're going to see a menu of options, one of which will be save chat. When you click on save chat, it's going to save the chat at the point in time that you save it into wherever your saved items is, whether you have a downloads folder or something else. Mine, as soon as I click on, I'm going to do this again, save chat, it says chat saved, and then it says show in folder, so I can click on that and find it. Mine goes into my downloads and I have a Zoom folder, and that's where all my downloads go. So that's how you save the chat. It saves it at the point in time that you saved it. So if you want to get the full chat transcript, including all the links and everything, wait until the end of the phone call. And I will remember, or I'll ask somebody else to remind me to remind all of you to download the chat at the very end of the call here today. Thank you, Tara, for asking that question. And
I'm wondering,
my response was helpful.
Thanks. I'm wondering if it does not work through the browser because I don't have that option. So it might
You're not
work
seeing it at all in yours?
Yeah.
The other option you can do is if you can't find the ability to save the chat and download it, ask someone else in chat if they can email it to you.
Exactly.
And
that
put
was
your email in there. Get a friend in there.
Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome. All right, Erica. Erica, you have a question. You have an interview coming up and you're wondering about your Zoom background. So Erica, as we do this, I'm going to pull you up on screen so we can see your background if you don't mind. Erica, are you still with us?
I'm still here.
Okay. Can you pull yourself on video? Are you able to or not? Are you not able to?
I'm on video. This is me.
Oh, here you are. Okay. Let me just give you, let's see, spotlight for everyone. And then spotlight for everyone. I think I'm going to put us both. Okay, here we go. Okay. So would this be where you're interviewing, the background that you're in right now?
Yeah. So it's like a last minute interview was scheduled for today at 2.
Okay. Yay, that's awesome.
I'm not ready.
Okay. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull this into gallery view. I'm going to do a picture right now because we're going to do the Zoom salute, and I'm going to leave my hat on, so it's going to be a little harder for me to do, but we're going to do the Zoom salute. To do the Zoom salute, I want you to put your hand on top of your forehead, And you should be, your top of your hand should be touching the top of your Zoom box, and the bottom of your hand should be touching your forehead. So you don't want to be like too far back, like I'm showing right here. And you can certainly be closer if you want, but try to be at least that close. Does that make sense? So we want to make it easy for people to see you. I'm going to take a picture, but I got to put my hat on here. So if you want to be in the photo, keep your Zoom salute up right now. Look at the camera, and I'm going to ask you to smile. If you do not want to be in the photo, I want you to hide yourself on video. I'm going to give you just a couple seconds if you don't want to be on the photo here. Okay, and if you are going to be on photo, look at the camera and smile, and I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm just going to make sure I can see everybody. You all look great. You're smiling in your faces. I'm going to share that to my desktop. Okay, I'm going to do Zoom salute. Okay, perfect. So let's go back to our speaker view so we can look at Erica. I'm going to ask our all-stars for any feedback on Erica's frame in the camera right now as it relates to what she wants to have. Are you going to blur your background, Erica, or is it going to be what you're in right now?
I wasn't going to blur it. I should also say it's for like an EAP counselor position, and some of the role would be remote. And so, I mean, should I move into it, I would set up something completely different. But
okay, but you want to be good, looking good on the interview here. So
yeah, I have this kind of like weird wallpaper with all these eyes on it, which like it's not, and so it's kind of difficult to find a space in this room that seems appropriate. Yeah.
Okay, so Sue, I see you have your hand raised. Sue, what advice do you want to give to Erica?
I think the greenery is great, and especially since you're in EAP, it's reassuring, actually. It makes it feel friendly. I always warn people on Zoom, you never know what people are doing on their side to watch it. So try to get closer to middle of the upper chest. Plus, it just helps people not focus where you don't want them to focus. So get your camera a little higher because your hair is being cut off. And the more I know that Zoom has given a new blur background and it's much better, but I'm also been reading a lot and doing a lot of investigation on implicit biases towards people because I work in a global audience. And I don't know if there's a point system for job applications, but the AI interviews where companies pay for it are ranking. If you blur your background, they're thinking you're less honest or something. So I think your background's great. I really like it. You've got that diffuse lighting coming in, but it's not you've still got plenty of light on your face. Good. I like how you moved your camera. Just remember, your job is to appear how you're going to be appearing in the work they want you to do. So that's what I wanted to reinforce. And I like the greenery.
Thank you.
Okay, any other all-stars want to add any feedback for Erica? Abby, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that the background is really good for what you are interviewing for. If you are interviewing for an IT position, I might not like it as much. But the other thing I was going to say is that if you interview well, no one's going to care what your background looks like. And it's really true. So you seem really nervous about the interview. So I really wouldn't focus on the background. I would focus on the interview while you're preparing for it. And don't be nervous. It's okay. You're going to do great.
Thank you.
I was gonna say the same thing, Abby, is that, Erica, sell yourself, not your background. The background will literally go into the background if you do a good enough job of selling yourself and demonstrating to this hiring manager or whoever you're speaking to that you can do for them what you did wherever you did it before. So just be able to demonstrate your ability to help them and make them better at what they do. The background will become irrelevant.
Okay, to end this off, I want to ask the question. I see a photo of somebody. It looks like an illustration over your shoulder. Who is that?
That's my grandfather, my late grandfather. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. So, I always like to think about everything behind us is intentional. So if we, whatever you put in the frame, you want to make sure that it's not distracting or it's not taking away from them focusing on you in the interview. So things like, really important is to make sure that you're well lit. You look well lit right now. We can see your face clearly. You're not like hiding behind shadows, things like that. The greenery I like, but I kind of feel like it is a lot of greenery. I heard you say because you're trying to hide out on some of the wallpaper that's behind you.
Yeah, there's like this very artsy. And so I'm just trying to.
I'm wondering though, and I know like everybody's saying, don't worry about the background, but if you're conscientious of it, like, have you tried blurring your background? Do you know how to do that?
No, I haven't done it recently.
I'm gonna walk you through it, and others on the call, if you want to follow us along. What you're gonna do is in your video icon that's in the bottom of your Zoom menu bar, there's a little up caret next to the video icon. Click on that up caret, and then there's a link that says video settings. So again, in your bottom menu bar where you see the video icon, click on the up caret, then click on video settings. When you go inside video settings, you should see an option in the video tab. Where's it at? There should be a blur my background in there. Is anyone else seeing it? I'm not seeing it in mine, but maybe it's in a different place.
It's under background and effects, actually.
Yeah.
Under the settings.
Background, oh, background and effects, thank you. And then blur is the second option. So if I blur my background, you can still see right now there's some light and colors and things like that, but we're not seeing the books and the details of all the stuff. So to walk you through that again, click on your video icon in the bottom of your Zoom menu bar and then click on video settings. In the menu bar that appears along the left-hand side, you're going to look for background and effects. Under background and effects, there's going to be a grid of different video options or picture options. The first one says none. The second one says blur. And then there's like the Golden Gate Bridge, the grass, different things in there. Click on blur if you could for yours, Erica. Can you see that in your options or are you not seeing that?
I'm just got there. It's like boost. Let's see.
So you're under video settings, and then did you click on background and effects?
Yes. So then,
Okay.
And then there's virtual backgrounds, video filters.
Yeah. Do you see the grid of pictures below that? Do you see one that says blur? So virtual backgrounds, video filters, and then it says avatars, and then there's like a block of pictures underneath. It says none, blur, and there's the Golden Gate Bridge, the picture of grass. Are you seeing that or are you not seeing that?
I'm sorry, it's under avatars?
It's not in any of those. Do you see pictures underneath those links of backgrounds? Do you see the Golden Gate Bridge and picture of grass? Okay, so do you see the box that says blur?
I don't have a blur box.
Okay,
It's
so it
just
might be,
none,
I wish
bridge.
Christopher Johnson was on here because he could probably help us with this. What I want you to do, Erica, is after you're off of the call here today, I want you to go to zoom.us, log in, and make sure that you have the latest version of Zoom. So there should be an option to update to the latest version of Zoom, because sometimes if we have an older version of Zoom, we don't have all the latest updates that are on there.
That's entirely possible. I just updated to get this last night. And so
Hey, Erica, do you have a thing at the bottom, like, do you have a menu bar at the bottom that has your microphone that says mute and then a thing that says stop video participants and all that at the bottom of your screen?
I can go back.
So we're talking right now about the menu bar that's at the bottom.
The menu bar at the bottom that has
Yeah.
your microphone, a thing that says video participants, share screen and all that.
I had it, but like now I'm in settings, so I guess I need to get out of here. Is that?
Yeah, I think she's already inside the video settings, Rosemary. Because
Yeah.
when we were talking
get
about
out of it?
backgrounds and effects, she could see virtual background, video filters. She could see that.
Yeah.
So I think she's in there. I just don't think the blur is an option in her version.
Because I don't have to do all of what you are saying. I just go to that video and I have an up arrow and I click on the up arrow and there's just a little thing that says blur my background.
Yeah.
And it's I don't have to go into video settings.
Yeah,
So
I
if
have
you
a
have
feeling.
something-
I don't want
Sorry?
to take a lot of time. I just
Yeah.
how I've
No, this
lost
is
myself
helpful because
completely.
there's probably, honestly, Erica, there's probably people on the call right now that didn't know they could do this at all, that didn't know how to change their backgrounds and do different things. So I always feel like there's no bad questions. All of this helps us to kind of navigate inside of Zoom. I wish Christopher Johnson was here because he's like our Zoom resident expert and he knows like Zoom in and out. And he's like a Zoom certified person. And he could probably say, you're not seeing it because of XYZ reason or the version that you're on, or maybe it's your computer memory. There's probably some fancy explanation I don't have for this. But I think, Erica, overall, what I was hearing from the group is that your background looks great. I don't think there's any issues with what your background looks like for the interview. You're brightly lit, you're at a good frame for the camera, you've got some greenery and things like that. I think you're good. I think now just shift gears to remember this is as much about you interviewing them to figure out, is this where you want to work, as it is them interviewing you to figure out, do they want to hire you? So going into it with that mindset, I know it's nerve wracking and you want to be back to work. And I remember that feeling so much. Like there's this nervousness that happens when you go into these interviews, but just, be prepared, go in there, show some enthusiasm as you whatever fits with your personality. And like, I'm a little over the top on enthusiasm sometimes, but like, I want to show genuine interest, because sometimes when we're nervous, that can come off as disinterested, if that makes sense. So smiling as much as you can, looking at the camera. When they ask you questions, you might be looking at the screen like I'm doing right now, but when you answer, you want to look at your camera. I'm tapping my camera because that makes it look like you're making eye contact with them, which makes you a more engaged job seeker. Does that make sense?
That makes sense for sure. Yeah, and this is helpful. It just happened so quickly, so I'm excited. Kind of fell in my lap, and it literally, like, in less than 24 hours, I went from like, oh, here's this position. It's like working with a recruiter, and then we're going to have you interview. So I had a phone screening this morning, and that's
great.
Would have liked a little bit more time to prepare. Yeah.
It went from phone screen this morning to, are you available for an interview this afternoon? Right? Same job, same company?
Yes.
That's sounding like ding, ding, ding. Where's my bell? All right. I'm like feeling pretty good about this for you. It sounds like you're definitely high in the consideration set, because they wouldn't, if you pass the phone screen, so they saw and they heard what they like, they want to move you into the next level. If I were you, one of the questions I would ask them at the end of the interview, and they say, do you have any questions? Yeah, I'm curious, what was it about my background or qualifications that prompted you to reach out to me? Like, ask them that question, because that's going to help you to understand something specific about you as it relates to the role. But I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, Erica. I'm very optimistic about this. It sounds very promising. So
thank you.
Good luck. All right, awesome. Okay, we're going to keep this moving along here. Julia, I'm not sure if you're still on or not. I have lost track. Are you still on? And can you help me figure out if there's any more questions? I think she may have had to drop off. She did. I know she had a previous commitment and she was not able to stay on. So let's see. I know there was a question from David Mills, and someone else from the group offered to host, or rather to sponsor. So I'm going to give away 2 30-minute calls today at the end. So stay on. We're going to give away 2 of those on here. David Mills, let's do your question. And I feel like there's one more question. I'm not able to find it. So let's finish David's question, do the drawing. And then if somebody else can help me to identify where the question was, we'll do one more. So David, you said you got an email for a hybrid position. Resume was of interest and they wanted to speak with you. The job description is over a page long and seems to request skills above current competencies. You're wondering if you should delete the email, move on, or talk to them. I don't have a fraction of the experience that seems to be desired. David, they contacted you, right? Can you unmute yourself, David? Are you on?
Yes, they did. I got the email from them. They seemed to like my resume, but I can't. How does the expression go? Can't hold a candle to what they seem to be asking for.
But David, they contacted you.
Yes.
They know what your skills and qualification and background are, and they contacted you. So don't bring up the fact that you don't have all the skills and qualifications. They contacted you. So the same advice I just gave to Erica is the same advice I'm going to give to you. During that phone screen interview, what was it about my background or qualifications that caused you to reach out to me? So ask the question. They reached out to you. So, I mean, perhaps they put together their wish list in the job posting and they went a little high on all the things that they wanted.
Oh boy, did they.
Right? But they reached out to you. So I would probably say their qualifications list has some priority. There's probably essential qualifications, and then there's desired, and then there's like nice to have.
Yeah, they didn't separate that out.
You don't know which is which.
Yeah.
Joey, I see you've raised your hand. What do you have to say, sir?
David, here's what you need to be saying to yourself. I am the best. I am the best. I am the best. And just keep repeating that to yourself. And then let them decide that you're not good enough for them. Let them make an offer before you decide you can't do this. Please. There are people who are probably less qualified than you who are foaming at the bit for this opportunity. Right? I am the best. Just keep repeating it to yourself. If you have to get a mirror or you want me to send you a recording of this, I'd be happy to do that. Right? I am the best. I am the best. And then next week, you'll come back with a success story telling us that you got this job.
Wouldn't that be
I
great?
wish I could show you my LinkedIn profile and then show you this job description. There's quite a gap.
Brenda's right. They called
They
you.
contacted you.
They
There's
By email,
something.
yeah.
Right. There are many people they could contact, and they may have. They may have 5 people online, right?
Mhm.
You're one of them. You're one of who knows how many. You may be the only one. I don't know. I am the best.
Yeah,
Period.
and Carrie just put into comments to not to be negative, but I would do some research on the group. That you raise a really good point, Carrie. Like, let's say I am a marketing director and I get contacted for a health research position, and I'm like, I have nothing, like zero crossover into health with what I do. Yeah, there are some unsightly organizations and not aligned with what you're looking for from a career goal. You know, it could be like a commission only type of a scenario, or not a real company, or they're trying to get you in one bait and switch type. So yeah, do the research. If you're feeling like you're getting a bad vibe from the company, sometimes we can't see the name of the company, they're hiding it, or, it seems a little bit unscrupulous, whatever they're doing. Trust your instincts. And before you proceed with the interview, make sure that you get your questions answered. It goes back to the point I made earlier. You're interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. But David, and for everybody else, all the VIPs on the call here today, if this is a position within the area, your realm of your industry, your job title, and you have some of the qualifications, even if you don't meet 100%, if they contacted you, there is a reason. My guess, David, is you have the essential qualifications they needed, the bare minimums. And maybe there was 2 or 3 areas that you weren't as strong on, but they're not finding the right person with all the interviews and screens they're doing. So they're now moving out to people who maybe don't have 100%. So definitely do your research. Make sure you feel like they're a legitimate, good company to work with. And I appreciate, I don't know who it was that said that.
I might have more like 70%, not
Okay,
90%.
so we just went from 10% to 70%, right?
Or maybe even that's generous. I don't know.
The person who wrote that job description may not even be the person you're working for.
Yeah.
Because they want you to be like expert in a whole bunch of different areas.
And the
including
person
some
writing
stuff
the
I've
job
never heard of.
description might not be a very good job description writer, author.
Maybe.
So keeping all those things in mind, David. So I love the advice we got on here. Was that helpful for you, David, before we move off of here?
Yeah, I'll research the company if nothing else then.
Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so I think we're gonna go into our drawing now, guys. Let me just share my screen again. Let's see, wheel of names. Are you guys seeing the wheel up on screen right now? I changed it to put a picture of the book in the middle. So where's my book? I think I have a couple behind me. All right, so this is gonna be, I gotta delete or take off my Zoom blur background so you can see what's happening inside here. Let me remove my blur. There we go. Okay, this is gonna be for an autographed copy of Social Media Pie, How to Enjoy a Bigger Slice of LinkedIn. Which, by the way, I don't know if you guys were on the call, but a few weeks back, we had somebody who said they read the book, they followed my advice, they did all the stuff, and they know that it was part of the reason they got a job. So, book is available for purchase if you don't win for today, by the way. I'll drop the link in the chat here. We're going to do 2 winners. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull one name. If the person is here, you're going to email me and say, I won the book. I'm going to put my email into chat right now. I'm going to put a Post-it note on the front of it, but I need you to give me your mailing address, and I want you to email that to me, not give it to everybody on the call. So if you win, email me, brenda@mellermarketing.com, and just say, I won, okay? And by the way, if you don't win, I'm going to put the link into chat right now where you can purchase a copy of the book for yourself. All right, so I'm going to click on the wheel. I'm going to hold my elbows up just like they do in Vegas, so you know I'm not cheating with the keyboard or anything like that. It's going to automatically randomly pick someone. Oh, Jennifer and Jill, did you notice that? It was like on the cusp. Jennifer, are you still on the call right now? Jennifer, can you say yes if you're on the call? Uh-oh. Going once. Jennifer, did you leave? Jennifer, if you left, you don't get the book. Can you unmute yourself? Jennifer Jensen. Jennifer? Jennifer. Did she walk out of the room? She got like an interview. Oh, she is here. Okay, so Jennifer, you got the book. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you didn't like set your computer down. Jennifer gets book number 1. And let's do this. I'm going to close this out, remove Jennifer, click on my keyboard. I'm going to walk away to get another book over here. Oh, wait, this is the 30-minute call. You're going to get a book and the call. Sorry, I did the wrong thing. Carrie, you're going to get a book and the coaching call because I made a mistake today. Sometimes my poor memory works in your favor. So both Jennifer and Carrie are going to get a copy of the book and a 30-minute coaching call with me. Look at that. Bonus on top of bonus on there. Apologize for that mistake. I realized, like, as I was turning around, I'm like, wait a minute, I wasn't supposed to do a book. I was supposed to do a 30-minute coaching call. Hey, look at my mistakes benefit you. So the drawing was for a 30-minute coaching call. I forgot. I said it was for a book. So you, Jennifer and Carrie, get both the book and the coaching call. Lucky you for my mistake on there. By the way, the others, if anyone else is interested in buying a copy of the book, I put the link inside of chat. Oh, you won the book from a couple weeks ago, Jennifer. Do you want me to give the book to someone else? Can you chat me and tell me? And then I'll pull the wheel up again. Jennifer, do you want me to give the book to someone else? Are you on, Jennifer? Jennifer, did she leave?
She said yes. She
said yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I can't see.
Yeah.
The chat.
Or yes, please spin. Or else I was going to give it to somebody I live near, but this would be easier. Or which one would you prefer?
I'll give it to someone else and they'll get the book and the coaching too, since we're going to be fair about this. All right, last one. My arms are up, just like in Vegas. What is it, roulette or something? Good. Cross off Jennifer. I'm going to write Eleanor. Eleanor, are you still on the call? Can you unmute yourself? Hello, Eleanor. Can you hear us?
Yes, I am still on the call.
Okay, so Eleanor and Carrie, please email me and say I won the book. You also get the coaching call. I will mail the book out to you today. And I will also include in that email instructions on booking your 30-minute LinkedIn coaching call with me. All right, everyone. I hope you had fun today. I had an absolute blast with all of you. I apologize for the hiccups we had when you first joined today. If you did have some hiccups with the scheduling, you were not alone. Thank you for your patience. What I've decided to do is moving forward, I'm going to delete out everything that's in there right now for Add Event and Zoom, and I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to test out the process before I send anybody the link. If by chance anyone misses this announcement, I'm going to send out an email to my full job seeker email list. I'm going to post this inside the LinkedIn group to tell you where to go. You will need to re-register to clear off everything on your calendar. We're going to get this worked out. I'm going to get this to the point where we were last year. But thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for your time today. As we leave today, I want to end with a story. I've shared this story before, but watch for the boats as you are in career transition. And there's a story it's in the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. At the very end of the story, the son is talking to his father and he tells the story and he says, you know, there's this big flood in town and all the people are evacuating town. And there's a man who's inside the house and the water's coming up and they're saying everybody needs to evacuate. And he says in the story, no, God's going to save me. And it keeps raining. And the next day he goes up to the second floor of his house and it keeps raining. And they're like, you know, there's a boat that comes by and they're like, sir, you need to leave. And he's like, no, God will save me. God will save me. Keeps raining, goes up to the roof and another boat comes by. Same thing. He's like, no, God will save me. God will save me. It keeps raining. He drowns, goes up to heaven. He's at the pearly gates and meets God. Right. And he says, God, why didn't you save me? And God says, what do you think the boats were for? And I love this analogy as we talk about being in career transition, because you can be so focused and you can have your blinders on. This is what I did before. And this is the way I do my job search process. And you might be very super focused on doing these things. And there's a lot of ideas that we shared in today's VIP Job Seeker office hours. We talked about connecting with people at the company. You probably never thought about that, right? Or maybe hadn't done that in your last job search. We talked about updating and refreshing your LinkedIn profile. We talked about building a community of job seekers. These are boats. We're sending boats your way, right? And you may have people approaching you while you're in career transition saying, Brenda, since you have some time, would you be open to volunteering for this nonprofit organization helping them with their marketing, right? Or would you want to interview for this job? And like David Mills, he's got a job opportunity coming to him. It was a boat, right? Not 100% qualified, but they called him, they contacted him. So when you get opportunities for interviews, as long as the company looks legitimate, take the interview, do the interview. It gives you practice. You never know where things are going to lead. And that could be the boat could rescue you, right? And we've heard of people that have been in this job seeking community where they've taken an interview. It wasn't a good fit for them, that particular role, but the company got to know them and then they called them for a different job or referred them to another position. So I want you to just think about being open to the possibilities. If you catch yourself saying no a lot or feeling yourself saying, no, I don't want to do that, that's not the way you do this. Like, just be open to trying some different approaches and to trying some different things. That's my inspirational ending for you on today's call. I want to remind you that this call was recorded. It will be on YouTube. I'm going to drop the link inside chat one last time. I'm going to put that in here in case you want to watch the playback. If in fact you were one of those people that couldn't get in until 15 or 30 minutes into the call, you can watch the playback from the very beginning. You can see me as I put on my pink hat and feather boa and fun glasses, as you will, on the call here. I'll remind you that we're going to be here every Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern. You will be getting an email with instructions on joining and registering for the calls moving forward. We're going to get this worked out. You guys are going to stick with me and I'm going to stick with you. And if you see anyone on LinkedIn who is announcing that they are unemployed, have been let go, downsized, anything, just tag me in the comments and say Brenda Meller may have some resources that can help. Use the @ so I get notification of that. And then I'll reply back with the link for them to register for the Friday calls. Okay. I'll help them. You help me. It's kind of like you're winking to me and I'll wink back to you and I'll put the link inside because we want to create this great community that is open to anyone. And I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone when they're in career transition. We have so many great all-stars that are helping. I want to thank all my all-stars. I know a lot of them have left already, but Sue, Jude, Kenneth, Joey, Abby, who did I miss? Did I miss anyone from the group? I can't remember. But thank all of those people. Have a wonderful weekend to all of you. I'll keep this open for about 5 minutes in case you want to download chat, but I am going to go ahead and stop our